guys, we're going to do some artwork this morning. So give me a hot second here to check in on my signal and make sure that we are running hot. And we're going to do some D&D adventure artwork for the, you can see the book cover here that we designed called Crystals of Mabar. Sounds like my signal's coming through A-OK, so I'm going to go ahead and drop that volume down there into the background so we can keep it out of the way. I just want to hit the social medias real fast. And then we're going to get to work here for about an hour and a half, I think is about right. And so just grabbing my link here real quick and click through to there, and then we are almost done. My name is Phil Kearney. What is going on? I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, and I publish them online. I've been a freelance illustrator since 1999, I think. I've been a D&D enthusiast since 1987, and I've been an Eberron enthusiast since about, I want to say about 2005, and so I'm now creating supplements for D&D. If you think today is fun, I'm here Monday through Friday in the morning doing artwork like this. Like, subscribe to the bell icon for notifications when we're live in the future. On Mondays and Thursday nights, including tonight, we do book design, and here's a slew of books that I've already built. You can check them out on the DMsGuild. They all have free previews. Just click the link and then click preview, and you can see the artwork and the game mechanics and design work that I do, which should be familiar to folks probably. If you're already familiar with my channel, you'll be familiar with the work. But for newcomers, welcome to the mix. So let's kick this book cover to the side. We are currently working on interior artwork for this adventure, and we're down to about a dozen illustrations. Here is the 16 by 9 format we've used online. It's a little off-sized, but Photoshop has a hard time full screening like this. Actually, there we go. That worked. Here you go. So this is a 16 by 9 document. So it fits on your device this way. It has a 12-point font, so it's quite possible you can already read this as is just here on YouTube if you full screen. But each individual column is also 16 by 9. So Photoshop won't do it here, but if I were to twist this once this is a PDF, we could then look at each individual column and just... So the whole adventure is designed and modular so that each topic is... there's complete thoughts in each topic of conversation on the... in each column. So they're all isolated thoughts from each other, so it's very well contained. It's 107 pages of, which is effectively 214 pages at the 16 by, at the 8.5 by 11 would be, this is a 16 by 9, it's 17 by 10, so it's roughly 10 by 8.5, or almost 11 by 17, or 11.5 by 8.5 by 11 A4 pages. So this is basically 2 A4 pages next to each other, 104 pages of them. So in reality, it's 214 pages. So hey, what's going on? How you doing? How am I supposed to pronounce your name? Pins? I'm gonna go with Pins. I can never figure out how to pronounce names. We are currently working on the gazebo. Sarah says we step towards the future. Hell yeah, my guy. Pines. Pinus. I will call you your Pinus. Just feels... I'm figuring things out. Don't make fun of me. Okay, great. So right now we are working on the gazebo. Boop, boop. Here it is. I'm going to blend in this stray line work a little bit. Let's grab an eraser here, 100%. Tap, tap. There, just thin that line down a little bit just to make it a little less rough. Yeah, a little off for the English tongue. That's okay. This will just be a little burst of forced multiculturalism. It's I want to blend the border line this art. Actually, I want to erase a lot of it. And let's kick up the strength of our smudge tool to around 80%, so it'll be able to smudge in real good. And I want to grab, let's grab a circle tool here. Nope, it's too thin. I think I'm going to add more contrast to this foreground pillar. There's a lot of same color going on in this piece, and I think the only thing that's going to really save us from ourselves in this process is to have contrast. So I'm going to smooth in this line art a little bit here just to get it into effect. Like that, and then we'll come back through and we'll work on contrast. I think I'll finish Enrica first, leaning against the pillar before I punch up any contrast to make sure that it isn't going to conflict with her color scheme. So this is good enough. I mean, it services, not great, but it'll do as a placeholder for now until we resolve Enrica leaning against it, hiding, and then, yeah, like I said, then we'll figure it out. So far, so good, though. I'm liking how it's looking. Liking how it's looking. There we go. And then I want to blend up into here a little bit. We're going to crystal everything, cover it all with muck. Down a little. There, brush that in like that. What is going on? Favorite module adventure that you wish WotC reprints in a book proper? I think the Desert of Desolation is already out there. Maybe it was Cobalt Press or Goodman Games or something that did it, but I believe it's out there. My two favorite adventures are Desert of the White Palms and The Lost City. I also enjoyed Pits of the Slave Lords, which is a Greyhawk adventure. That one was a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed the fortress that's in that adventure. If you know, you know. If you don't, it takes a lot to explain it, so forgive me for not. But yeah, it's a Scourge of. It was Scourge of the Slave Lords. It was four separate adventures in a campaign. I think you started at 3rd level and ended at 9th. I want to say maybe 10th level. I'm a little hazy on my memory, but yeah, Scourge of the Slave Lords and Lost City and Desert of the White Palm. Those are by far the 3 favorite ones. They may exist out there already.
Lost City was done by Goodman Games. Thank you.
The Lost City I loved because it was basically a hatch poking out of the sand after a sandstorm that led into a tier, like a 10-tier pyramid, and each level was a larger and larger dungeon until you got to the bottom, and then it shrank back down again. A unique boss monster, and the whole Lost City completely switches gear from you're doing a dungeon crawl until about 9th level, and now you're dealing with geopolitics in the actual Lost City itself. The buried pyramid leads to the Lost Temple, or the Lost City, if you get all the way through the dungeon. And then you're a high enough level to start dealing with cityscape type politics with different factions and stuff, which could end up being an interesting faction base for your characters, though we never did. The Desert of the White Palm had another desert pyramid. Don't judge me. but it had a ton of interesting traps and unique magic structures and stuff inside of it. So it was another fun dungeon. This one, there was a crevice that you would have to splunk down into that would get access to one of the sections of the Under Temple. And then Scourge of the Slave Lords had a really, really cool fort for low-level characters to fuck around in. There's werebores, and it introduced the cloaker that was used as a means of keeping slaves docile while they were waiting for transport. Lots of room for all sorts of exploration, lots of tricks and traps. It was an organized. The fortress was organized to repel sieges and adventurers infiltrating. So it was a well coordinated, well explained adventure that would help guide the DM through, like, hey, if this kind of shit is going on, the fortress is prepared for it by XYZ. And it had multiple points of access, and it was just a well-organized adventure. And then as you expanded, then there was a party of 9 NPC villains that were running the slave ring that you eventually had to track down and defeat. Super fun stuff. It got into mongrel men eventually, like using magic mutations to experiment on the slaves that were being stolen to create the mongrel race, which was just like a blend of like a bear boy with a lobster claw, for instance. They were doing Dr. Zhivago style splicing on these slaves as magical experiments. That was a fun theme. And this is back in like 1986 that I got my hands on these things. So it's like, these are all fresh, cool ideas back then. So I think there's probably a big nostalgia vibe that goes along with me loving them. But they were fun experiences to kick through. Super, super fun. But I didn't do a lot of formal adventures. There was a lot of. I tried to incorporate a bunch of dungeon magazine stuff, and I'm real hazy on which editions I would be talking about in reference if I mentioned which adventures from Dungeon Magazine specifically that I enjoyed. But one of my favorite ones was, I think, for the 6th level characters, you were invading a goblin dungeon, and it was trapped in puzzles everywhere. It had really tight tunnels, so it was talking about murder hole. Like, you'd have a tunnel that you'd have to crawl through, basically on your hands and knees if you're medium sized, and you could crouch through if you're small sized. But there'd be murder holes. There'd be tunnels running along the sides of the main tunnel that had murder holes that could open up that they could stab at you with spears. They could drop boulders or acid or boiling oil down into these tunnels that you were crawling around inside of. And the only time they would open up into a larger space is if it was like a murder gallery or some sort of trick trap. So it was a miserable experience to run around inside of, but it was another example of well orchestrated enemies against an invading force, your characters. So there's a lot of siege type mentality going on in these earlier edition adventures where they expected the monsters to recognize adventurers are a reality in this world that they have to prepare for. It really it's just adventures like that breathe in a lot of life to like how adventurers really worked into the ecology and the thinking of the world. And I loved that. I absolutely loved that. But yeah, I didn't use a lot of published adventures for the most part. For the most part, the vast majority, we would just homebrew stuff. Just make up a dungeon and go run through it. Make up a cavern network and go run through it. Make up a little section of forest or like a small little hex crawl and bang around inside of it. Underdark, super fun. I think I'm just about done messing around with the staining on this rock, and I can start dropping crystals into it. Just want to clean up this edge a smidge. And I think I need to go back to the ground and cover. Yeah. Like that. And then like that. Oh, I noticed a little thing here I can clean up. I'll show you what I was working on this weekend. Again, I do work on this when you guys aren't looking. So this is the items and oddities section of the book. Here, I'll drop this one in. Here you go. Appendix B, new items and oddities. So here's the new artifact, the Eye of Mabar, the ritual, ritual timeline, and ritual mishaps. And here's an image of Sulzu with the Eye of Mabar inside the chrysalis chamber that gets created during the ritual while performing the ritual. Here are more items that are in process. Bonfire log, it's a self-burning log. Gate seal runestone. When flung, this turns into a gate seal, which when it's tossed into the nexus of a manifest zone, it destroys the manifest zone permanently. Grappling, I'm still working, grappling staff, working title. But this weapon is a halberd with a lariat threaded along the haft. You can use the staff to grapple a creature of medium or small size as an attack. You can use a bonus action to automatically hit the creature grappled by the staff this way. So you can, it's a reach weapon. It's heavy. I should put in martial melee weapon. But basically, it gives you grappling as a weapon mastery when you're using this weapon. So you can see it has the draw thread here with the lariat. I can hit you with this. If I can hook you with it, then I can pull it taut. And then I have that ring there that I can use to hold the haft while the lariat is pulled. And since the blade is right next to the lariat, I can choose to turn the blade away from your neck, or I can choose to turn the blade into your neck, depending on what I'm actually trying to do. And of course, once you're grappled, you can't move away, so you're stuck in place. So people can just basically dogpile on you. Image crystal. This is one of the magic items that you're given by Aether Academy with images of the different scientists or alchemists that have gone missing, and that you can use to record your own images. Wind Vein of Fresh Air. This creates a wind wall effect in a 20-foot radius that pushes poisonous fog away from the zones inside of this area, and casts a prestidigitation a prestidigitation cantrip while it's active to clean everything in its area. So it's large in size. It's 10 feet tall. It's a 5-foot radius. But they're used throughout. The mercenaries and the Emerald Claw place these things strategically to create zones in dungeons to block off fog from creeping in, so it remains a fresh air environment that you can eat and sleep and breathe in normally. And then we have magical cooking implements, which are basically self-cooking, self-cleaning items. And I need more descriptive text than I have. But so I'll need to clean that up. But these are some of the unique items that the team can run across, just like quality of life magic items that are included. The grappling hook is a lot of fun. Probably I don't know, maybe lasso halberd. I'll come up with a better name. It needs a better name. And here are oddities. Here's patches of crystal on the ground. Here's patches of ferric ivy. These are yellow cap mushrooms. This is Lotharia vulpina. This is just plague moss. And these are black florets that, and then all the ecology and alchemical stuff that you can do with all of these things. Their weight, their value. These are all things that are being harvested for alchemy or spell components, which is the whole reason to create the manifest zone in the first place, because it converts the entire environment into a magic-rich environment that can literally be scraped and harvested like crops inside the zone to create alchemical formula. So that's the page there, and then on the next page is the plot hooks. Appendix C is the plot hooks that we're working on right now. And Appendix A is the monster manual of the adventure for all the unique creatures that we created. So this is where we are right now. I've been working on this off screen. I might work on some of this on screen, but I don't necessarily need to. We still have maybe probably about 10 illustrations that we need to do throughout the book before it's actually finished. I'm going to start doing the hypertext link and bookmarking process in the Word document here pretty shortly to get it hyperlink active and get all the click-throughs set up. So because that is once I start dropping illustrations into the Word document, it's going to get chunky. I expect this. I am praying this book doesn't get to 1 terabyte. One of the Spelljammer book that I built that we're going to be looking at tonight later on, for anyone that's interested in showing up. When I built that book, it was 817 megabytes as just an open Word file once I had all the text integrated. And I am praying that I can build this thing without crashing Word. I have no idea if I can or not. I don't know what the actual memory capacity on Word is. It claims 512 megabytes is the limit to a file size, but obviously I've overclocked that on multiple books that I've created so far. This is by far the largest book that I've ever created, so I'm a little scared at how much added size the book is going to give. Interesting, the Microsoft Word documents that I use has a 220 pixel resolution limit on it. I could try pushing it up, but I haven't needed to in any of the other books that I've created. The 200 pixel limit on images seems to work pretty good. But yeah, I won't know until I get into it if I'll be successful at, because I have a background for every page, which means there's an image on every page that's 17 by 10 inches in size, which is huge. If I can pull this off, it's going to be amazing. I am terrified that I'm going to run into some sort of obstacle. If I do, I'll probably just have to break the book up into separate PDFs, which will be a shame because I wouldn't then be able to do the entire book as a single preview for people to look at. But it is what it is. We'll operate within. So we have a strategy of basically breaking it up. Like there's 3 parts in the adventure. I could break it up into those 3 different parts into different PDFs if I need to. I would hate to have to do that because it would make hyperlinking the entire document less effective. But with God's grace, I pray that this thing comes through the way it's supposed to. So we'll find out. I've got a monster of a computer. It's got great RAM. It's an i7 series. No, it's an i9 series CPU. So I mean, my machine can handle it. It's just a matter of whether or not the Photoshop program itself can handle it. So I suspect it can, but I'm afraid. It's just because I've never created a file that large before, and I don't know how to use Affinity or how to use InDesign. It's the only processing, the only layout program that I know is Word, and it's worked so far on all of the other books I've created, but none of them have ever been as big as this book.
Pine saying, fighting confused mind control celestials resembles a hymn with a goal to fight winged lion celestials long enough to purify them. Oh, that's fun. Magazines kind of blend, but you remember articles themselves. For example, I can remember the issue number of Arcadia that had it, but there was a quick cathedral adventure right door. Oh, right on. That's super fun.
Right, nice change of pace, and a good theme for you to give a reason to fight Celestials without necessarily them having to have some sort of twisted background or you being the bad guys. Mind control effects. That's a great solution to add in monsters that you normally wouldn't expect yourself to fight. And Celestial Lions are just cool in general. So cheers to that. I've got this hanging drawl going on this morning. I'm not necessarily happy about that. Hold on, I gotta grab my water. Let me grab my water, and I will be RB. Burr. Burr, 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 burr. I am going to go down. Once or twice, apparently twice a month. Once a month, and on every quarter, twice in a month. I have to go downtown to Seattle to do corporate stuff at the main office, and so I will not be streaming on. I don't expect to be streaming Wednesday and Thursday morning, but after that, I should be returning to my normal routine. So I've got today and tomorrow. I'll be out on Wednesday and Thursday, and then I'll be back for Spelljammer Thursday night, and. And then I'll be back in my normal routine on Friday morning. So a little bit of a hiccup. Once it's every month, I have a little downtime because I got to get on the commuter bus super early to be able to hit the timing to get into the office physically. Not happy about it, but it's fair. It's just I don't like breaking my rhythm. But it's okay. It's fine. I think it's fair. That in like that. Yeah, okay, I think that looks good. Now we can start adding crystal grit. So I'm going to squinch this in. I'm not liking, hold on, I do not like that this line here is thicker than this one here. That is really chafing me. So give me a second. I feel like I have to get in here. No. Bring that in a bit. See, it needs to get brought in. That seems about right. There we go. That is the correct answer, kiddos. Very good. Toss that in like that, and then groundwork. Very good. Okay, that should work. Let's go back to, wait. Thank you. Let's go to there. Let's get this line back in here. Damn it, gotta switch to a roundy. Some quick medical work here. There we go. place and let it be. That worked out really well. See, now it's an even width. Stupid geometry. Shapes. Blah. Shapes so difficult. That's good. Okay, cool. So we're back on point. Let's merge that down. Get back into our crystals. Switch our colors up. Zoom in a bit.
Hey, what's going on, Fox? Hey, Defected. Good to see you guys.
Yeah, it's very well. That's the foggy effect. So that's why I want to make sure that Enrica and the guards that we only have shadows up here right now have more color to them, so they stand out a bit more. And I want to increase the contrast of this gazebo here in the forward, this pillar here that she's hiding behind. But I need to get there. We need to get there. So yeah, very, very low saturation. I agree. Work in progress. That's the dampening effects of the manifest zone. I think it'll be fine further back as it fades into the mist. But for sure, oops, where are you coming from here, buddy? Get out of here. But yeah, it'll work out. I have faith this is going to work out. Let's see. Yeah, we just want to grit up the surface here a little bit, and we're going to come through with an eraser to get rid of a lot of these clumps, but this is a good way for us to get these things worked in here. Like that.
What's up? Silly manifest zones. Looks as it was not critiquing. Just notice how different it is from the other art that you do.
Yeah, right on. It's actually, I was actually talking about that earlier in the session, that I need to increase, because it's like this is blending like way too much. Back here, I'm really happy with it. I'm gonna darken the sky up here, and then we're going to increase the the contrast here in the foreground, just to make it stand out more from the rest of the stuff in the back. But and thank you for resting in my mind that it wasn't a critique, though I certainly welcome them when they occur. It's perfectly allowable. And I have made a mistake. I made a big mistake. Because I need to be on this layer. I'm going to lock this one so I don't fuck up again. I'll eventually blend them all in together, but during the crystal stage, no. Let's bring that in like that, and then a little bit of crystal along here. Because I don't see the color, I could make a mistake, and I think I'm pretty good about catching. I think my RGB slider over here is pretty good about keeping an eye on color for me. So it's something that I am legit paranoid about. There, and I see text. What's going on? What's the little crashing, a little burning? What's a little crash and burning? Oh, there was I really enjoyed legit. There was one of the dungeon magazines back when Spelljammer first came out. They had an introductory adventure, like how to get your characters in space, and it was so random. It was like you're in the forest someplace near a lake, and an Illithid nautiloid is just on the lake near the with a gangplank down to the shore, and apparently the crew of the ship had been killed in a conflict with I don't know, something, but for whatever reason the crew was low, and the Illithid didn't have any slaves left, so it landed the ship to go find some local Terrans
to kidnap and enslave to help make the ship go. And your team comes across it while the Illithid is out in the forest scavenging for humans. And if you're still there, you can try looting the place. But if you're still there, when the Illithid comes back, you now have to fight an Illithid to get off of the ship. And this is for, I think it was for 7th level characters, and that's some scary shit back in first edition days. Illithids were just, I mean, they're tough now in 5e, but they were just fucking terrifying back in any edition prior to 5th edition. Actually, I don't know about 4th edition. I can't speak to 4th. But in 1st through 3rd edition, Illithid were fucking scary. They do a lot of damage in 5th edition, but I don't think they're properly scary. And they can stun you, sure, but it just doesn't. And they can pull your brain out with their tentacles. That's always been a thing. But in prior editions, because the psionics were handled differently, they were really brutal. Like in 1st edition, when they were around, it was like if you fail that check, you are stunned for like a minute. You are out of this fight, waiting to get collected. In 3rd edition, when they did psionics, psionic attacks did ability damage. So running across Illithid meant that you were going to lose charisma. I think it was either charisma and intelligence, or possibly dexterity. It was another effect that they had. They had like 2 or 3 different psionic attacks that they could dump into just fucking over your ability score. So it was ability score damage. So like if your wizard has a dexterity of 10, and your psionic monster that's attacking the characters are dealing D6 dexterity damage every time they zap you with their brain, your character's going to get paralyzed really fucking fast. It's just terrifying. I love that. God, I love that. I feel like I need to up the contrast here to help distinguish this form from the rest of the environment, because it all kind of just blends together. I'm not happy about that. So I think what I need to do is let's confer the Oracle. And let's lean more into the colors that are on the palette. We'll switch back to our... let's go with a square brush for now. That feels right. Nice. Even if I just do that, I bet that's going to add a ton of value. Pardon the pun. Drop that all in here like that. Get out of the way, gal. Thank you. Gunky. I tell you, man, the rundown with Dwayne Johnson. If you haven't seen the rundown, it is a funny, amusing film. Highly recommended. I don't know why that popped. Gunky is just a thing from the. They eat freaky fruit in the Peruvian rainforest that makes them trip, and then they get attacked by a bunch of monkeys. So they're tripping balls, trying to not get eaten by monkeys. It's great. While they're tied up and hanging upside down. Ridiculous fun. This is a great idea. I'm really happy about this. What's up? Yes, my beloved Fallen Empire, Squid People, their Spelljammer lore is dope as fuck. Yes, their lore is dope as fuck. I have a bucket list of things that I want to do before I consider whether or not I want to continue making content for 5th edition. And there's a series of Spelljammer things that I want to do. which includes dwarven. Like I want to create maps and strategies and basically like ship lore for the Neogi, the Illithid, the elves, dwarves, and the Skrull nations. Like the scorpions and mammoth ships and the goblin arrows are Skrull. The warbirds and star moths and and then monarch ships are elves. Illithid have the scuttlefish fightercraft that we created, as well as the standard nautiloid model. But I also want to do like a 500-foot kraken. For the elves, I want to do a 500-foot monarch star moth. It's a carrier ship. For the Skrull, I want to do a 500-foot mammoth ship. For the Illithid, I want to do a Lord Spider, which would be a 500-foot spider carrier ship. And then the Dwarven Citadel, of course, is 500-foot block of dwarven face flying at you. But we don't have massive structure ships in Spelljammer's Adventures in Space from Wizards of the Coast. So it's a good opportunity for me to reintroduce those lost ships, TM Lost Ships. For those that know, Lost Ships was a supplement from second edition that added things like the Mammoth ship and like the Whale Galleon and stuff like that. Super fun, but they're missing. They're huge in size and missing from the Spelljammers that WotC published. They only put up to 250-foot sized hammerhead and squid ships, but the game support, the way that I built it, it supports ships up to 500 feet in size. So that's the carrier class, or like the battle cruiser class. Massive scale ships that have tons of hit points and have shitloads of space to be able to carry stuff on, including fighter craft. So they're good carrier ships or like command ships. Streak this all in here like that. I think I want to drop the opacity a bit there. Scratch in some clear effects here. But yeah, if I can find the time, I want to build all that out. Like for the Illithid, I like the scuttle ship. I like the scuttlefish. The cuttlefish at which are 20-foot fighter craft. Of course, we have the nautiloid, which is 200 feet. But I want to have something like a 100. Like I want to do the life evolution of living nautiloid ships, like the cuttlefish fighter craft are like babies, and then as they age, they'll grow up to become like a massive kraken at 500 feet, and that's kind of where they cap. So I can scale from 20 feet to 500 feet, like 20 feet, 100 feet, the nautiloid at 200 feet, another one like at 300, and then a 500 foot, which would be a shitload. If you checked out my my Vocath Battle Crab stream that I was running, that was a massive project that took a stupid amount of time to build. That Vocath's base as a 500-foot spelljamming ship, which I also still need to fucking publish. But we'll get to that. We'll get to it. Everything in good time. I'm going to not do that. I think I'm going to add in another layer here, just to darken this up a bit more. Still not a ton of saturation, but it's got it's better contrast, I think, to help pull things forward. So I'm going to put another light layer over this. Crystals go here.
like that. A little bit over here. I think that'll help break it up a little bit. Ground. Come on, buddy, where you at? I see you there. 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 Oh, I get it. Okay. Yeah, this all makes sense. Okay. Sorry. I got lost in my own sauce here real quick. Let's go back up to here. Back to our black brush here. That'll help. I think I need to use a darker line. Let's go back to our roundy brush. And then small size. There. That feels pretty good. I'll break that down like that. Feels good. Yeah, there we go. I'm happy about that. That, I can blend that down to here. Which I can blend down to here. Then I can drop down. That feels pretty good. I'm gonna kick in. I wanna put an edge in across here. Can we merge this down? Shit, that's not the way I want to do that. Take this to 100. Merge this in. Oh, wait. No, that is absolutely not the way I want to do this. You stay separated. Very good. This is, yeah, this is peak. That feels better. I'll grab another line here, across here, just to... Maybe we need to grab a darker color. Blah, 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 darker. Fine. Now a stronger line actually makes sense for this. Help make it stand out against the rest of the background a little bit better. I think that makes a lot of sense to do that. Mostly I just need the contrast against the background. So that's where I want to focus my attention. Here, like that. A little bit in here like that. I'll scuff it up a little bit. There. That's feeling better already. What's going on? It's a shame that the 5e Spelljammer was barely an intro. Yeah. Heck, not even a map tutorials. Yeah, no kidding, right? Or even like 4 or 5 tables of random gen planets. Yeah, it was way too thick and it was way too thin. It was. I suspect they wanted to do a lot more with it, but their corporate overlords refused to allow them to make the expenditure. So that's a personal theory, but whatever. But honestly, if I'm personally proud, because if it hadn't ended up being such a train wreck of a product, I don't think I would have been inspired to build a variant system for it, and that I am incredibly proud and absolutely love that variant system. Really is just opening up a lot of different play styles and design ideas that we can mess around with. I am just absolutely adoring. But all these things take a lot of work, and it's worth it. It's a labor of love. My inner 16-year-old is geeking out so bad over what we were able to produce with Spelljammer for 5e. Like, massive bucket list item was to do things with Spelljammer, and I'm really glad that it finally came around to do it. It was the color mana system that brought me to making homebrew content for 5e in the first place. But that was just a complete opportunity. It's like, because I love designing mana systems and using spell points and stuff, and always have ever since when they announced the end of 3e. That's when I actually started homebrewing stuff. I never really felt a need to homebrew before then, but when they're like, yeah, no more 3rd edition, I'm like, well, at this point, if I'm going to do something, I have to do it myself. So that's what inspired me to get started. And I messed around with a little bit, but then I got into Numenera for a while, and then we eventually adopted. I pretty much skipped 4e and stuck with 3e. Other than playing, I think Gamma World is perfect in the 4e game engine. I love Gamma World in 4e. It was such a good design. Best version of Gamma World yet, in my opinion. But so I didn't do. I stopped doing homebrew stuff in 3e when I started playing Gamma World, and then got into Numenera. Before we started playing 5th edition at my table. Scratch that in. Get that set up here. How are we doing on time? What we got, about 7:30? Okay, we got another 20 some odd minutes today. We just keep hacking away at it until it's done. See, that feels a lot better already. I'm happy to have invested this time. Ooh, that's a fun idea. Nah, let's leave it dark. There, and now I want to go back, and the grit on the actual tower itself is looking pretty good. I just need to add a little bit more grit that we can drip with. So I'm going to switch up to this brush again. Actually, I'm going to thicken that brush here like that. I'm going to run it here, along under here like that, and then here. Not sure how this is going to actually shake out. Like that, here. chickenpox. Let's grab this. Now we're going to grab the same brush. I'm going to try smudging with it. I haven't done this before, but it's an idea that I have to put these little streaks in here like that. Don't know if I like this or not. I kind of like that. Let's complete the process and then we'll see if it's worth it. Come on. Nope, come on. I kind of like it hanging off the edge like this. The mid column stuff, I don't know if I like that or not. But this is all good. I love that. Don't think I like... I think I like it smudging down from the top, but I don't think I like the mid. Come on. Like this stuff here. I don't think I like that. So I'm thinking about getting rid of it. Let's just tap at this a little bit. See if we can do some fun. Like that. Just some grittiness. I do kind of like that. I gotta admit. I like the text. I like the rough texturing of that. The streaks are really fun. I'm going to use a lighter eraser just to tap at and smudge that in a little bit just to streak it. I think I like that, yeah. And I can take this and smudge the hell out of that. Just to erase some of that here. Get the grit worked in. Then drop this here like that. No, that one's got to go. I see the language. Chop it out a little bit, smudge it out. Smudge it out, smudge it out. And hack at and erase that in. Nice. I like that. Yeah, I think that feels pretty good. I think we're going to probably end up having an illustration inside the dungeon that's going to have similar smearing on the walls. So this is actually really good that we're here working on this stuff like that. Oh, I think I like that. That feels pretty good. Go here, drop this down. Oops. Merge this down. Yeah, not so bad. I think I'm happy with that. I'm going to pull the gazebo in. We're going to go back to see. Let's try sitting here. This will probably be 7:38. We're doing great. So far, so good. So what? Drop this in down here like that. What was your favorite class, prestige class in 3? Oh, my favorite prestige class in 3rd edition was the Telfamar Shadow Pouncer. Blending Telfamar Shadow Pouncer with Warlock. So the Warlock used to just be like cantrips and spell-like abilities. It didn't have any spell slots. It just had things that it could spam, or like do once a day or something like that. A little hazy on the memory. But one of the cool things was the Eldritch Glaive invocation, which instead of your Eldritch Blast being a pew-pew laser beam, it was formed into a force glaive with a 10-foot reach. So you basically got a D10 halberd that you could make as many melee attacks with as you could fire the ray. Like at 14th level, it was like I want to say at 15th level, it was 4 attacks per full attack that you can make, and the Telfamar Shadow Pouncer was a prestige class. It was an off-rogue prestige class that the long story short. Every time you teleported, you got a full attack. So mix the Eldritch Glaive with the Shadow Pounce ability, and then using Book of the Nine Swords, the 3rd edition of Martial Powers. You could take Sword Sage and end up with the desert with I think it was the Desert Sun feats and Dancing Wind. I don't remember the name. I don't remember the name of the different schools of techniques, but long story short, in 7 levels, you could end up getting an action, bonus action, swift action, reaction. All 4 of those could be teleportation effects. So the Shadow Pouncer would be whenever you teleport, wherever it is that you land, you can make a full attack from that point. So I could, if I was willing to blow a ton of my resources, I could Nova 16 attacks per round as an action, bonus action, swift action, and then if I could find a way into making a reaction, that's where I can get 16 attacks per round. So 12 on my own turn, and then 1 on somebody else's turn. That was my favorite build because it was stupid OP. I also liked the Rage Mage, which was a well, most people probably know what a Rage Mage is. It was a. Well, I'm going to grab this into the foreground here a little bit more. Maybe I want to put it back a little bit more. There we go. Let's smudge this with a lower degree.
Yeah, this needs less, just less going on. Dark oppressive sky. I like that dropping down, but I don't need so much cloud stuff. But yeah, the Rage Mage was basically built off of, you had to have the Rage feature, and then you got up to 4th level spells. But if you blended that with the Eldritch Master, the Eldritch Master allowed you to take a spell list and get higher level spells, like to artificially increase the spell levels and choose spells to pick off of. So the Rage Mage would allow you to have unlimited spell casting while you were raging, but the raging only lasted a minute. So for 10 rounds, you could cast whatever spells it is that you could cast. Go for it. But the small list of Rage Mage spells that they gave you were very thematic and limited. Take the Eldritch Master, and the Eldritch Master was designed to expand your spell list. So every, it's a 10 level prestige class, and as you built it up, you would be able to take your spell list and then add somebody else's spell list to yours. So by 22nd level, I could have both the Cleric and the Wizard spell list on top of my Rage Mage spell list. And if I ramped up Eldritch, it was Eldritch Disciple is what it was called. If I could ramp up the Eldritch Disciple, like if we were using epic levels. So this required a 24 level build, but by the time I got there, my Rage Mage had 9th level spell slots that I could take from both Cleric and Wizard, and because of the Rage Mage feature, I could cast them for free. So I basically had spammable 8th, 9th level spells for however long my rage could last. That was insane. Legit crazy shit. Super fun. 3rd edition was wild. But once you get into it, it's once you get the feel for it, it's a lot of fun to run. It's a lot of work. 3rd edition it's like Pathfinder. It's bulky. So there's a lot of technical stuff. If you're into technical combat, if you like tactical shit, 3rd edition's not bad. I really like the technical stuff that we're doing with martial powers, but it's still a work in progress. We're getting there though. We're whittling it down. I'll probably run another martial power campaign. Just update everything, rein in some of the power, and then run another campaign from like 3 to 9 to see how it's sitting. Maybe 5 to 13 instead. That's feeling a lot better. Man, I am loving this piece. So the grid is good. That's good. I think I want to have a little less grid on the ground, just to help distance. I just want to thin that up a little bit, just so it doesn't contest against the gazebo. So let's grab the gazebo again. I need more texture. Give me more texture. Yay! I'm trying to zoom here. Thank you. So yeah, I'm going downtown on Wednesday and apparently on Thursday. So I'll be out. I won't be here in the morning on Wednesday and Thursday, but I plan to be here Thursday night. And then Friday we'll be back to normal. So tomorrow like normal, Wednesday, Thursday are weird, and then back to normal on Friday. Thursday night and Friday. There we go. go. I am enjoying this. We are down in the tube. We're gonna work on
What time is it? It's 7:45.
so yeah, I'm about done for the day. So we are going to tomorrow. We will be working on Enrica, and we'll hopefully get her finished up on Friday, and then work on the guards here that are looking for her. And if all goes well, we'll be done with this on Tuesday next week, and then we'll continue into another section of the book. We still have the Gatekeeper's plot hook to resolve, and that'll be the last plot hook to resolve. And then we go back into the actual adventure and start looking at little corners and little small, like really tiny little pockets. I think we might have like a couple more illustrations that are like a sixth of a page maybe. After this, we'll have I want to say 10 illustrations that actually need attention. There, that feels pretty good. Like that. There we go. Kind of said that 5e mushed it all before under a few core classes. I hate that some people believe that the current Battlemaster fighter is at all representative of supportive control martial. But I mean, yeah, it was dope as fuck. Yeah, those were some cool prestige classes. There's a lot of them, though. There was a ton of super cool prestige classes. I like the actual martial class that was in the, what was it? The book of, I don't remember what class the martial was in. But it was a commander type character that could like push people's action economy and reflexes and stuff like that. It was a cool class. Tome of Battle. It wasn't a Tome of Battle. The Miniatures Handbook. That's what it was. The Miniatures Handbook, the third edition book that they came out with for skirmishes and war game stuff. They had normal third edition character prestige classes and character classes in it. Of course they did, but it was primarily a skirmish game, like with point values and shit like that. Like to build war bands to go attack each other on a grid. It was fun. I played it a number of times. Yeah, let's thin that up a bit. I'm being a little nitpicky right now, but I can afford to be. Oh God, this feels so good. I'm really happy with this. I'm just being very nitpicky right now, but I'm essentially done for the day. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for the clock to burn down. But I mean, yeah, it's a lot of people came in 5th edition that don't know anything, and by anything I mean like don't know any prior editions, don't have anything to compare things to. And I think there's, I don't know, man. It's I think the casual, like the larger base of like casual players that got into 5e aren't as interested in like the highly tactical side of stuff, which is what like Marshals and the Book of Nine Swords and like martial power stuff. It kind of leans into more tactical decisions. I enjoy long tactical battles that are interesting and cause the team challenges, and I think I'm fairly good at building them. So I've got is the word proclivity to doing that type of stuff. And if your team enjoys combat, then lean into it. Like if your table likes combat, then you're there to have combat. If you spend the bulk of your game in combat, then you're playing it correctly, because that's how you've determined that you have fun as a team. So there's nothing wrong with that. But I think there's a lot of people that came into 5e that aren't tactical combat enthusiasts at all. More of the like quote unquote thespians that enjoy the role playing aspect of character development only occasionally have to worry about a scuffle just to justify their power, which is a different vibe than where I like to be at. That is my timer to tell me that I have hit my time limit and I can go do my day job and earn my money. But I am really happy with how this has turned out. I think we did a good job with building up the contrast to the distance while staying in the general motif of what we developed for this piece. I like this. I think I can add a little bit more to this back gazebo here now that we've textured this one up super good. But this is looking fucking great. I am very, very happy with this piece. We needed some environment pieces like this showing off different areas, different dungeons and stuff like that. It was neat. It was necessary. So I just think it's fun that the space we have to do those pieces are back in the appendix where we're looking at alternate adventures and then the alternate encounter scenarios that are in here. I think I should raise this up. Like that. Yeah, if I do that, I can bring this up a smidge. Bring this over. Center it back up. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Very good. Nice. And we'll probably do some corner grit over here, some more crystals and garbage and stuff. Like these little gaps that we have at the bottom of the page, I could like put like clumps of crystals or like Lotharia or mushrooms or like black florets, just like little environmental pieces, like little tiny little snudges. Nothing too important, but we have little gaps like this all throughout the book that I think I want to go through and just like dust in some little texture stuff. And I haven't quite figured it out yet, but we're figuring it out. Check. So next up is the guards and Enrica. That's what we're going to work on next. And we're going to completely change her posture. This is not the right posture. Plus, she doesn't have any feet. It needs to be a little less tense, and she's not armed. So if she escapes from the prison, she is not armed. So I need to take those weapons away from her. But this is our piece. It's coming together really nicely. Let's drop that off there, and then let's drop in our grid line here, which is now off. Huh. Let's grab this. Nope. Bring that in a touch. About there. Then we'll grab this. And bring that in a touch to about here. That feels about right. Yeah, that feels about right. So if we do this correctly, we can then take her and bring her forward to take a look around the corner. And the guards down here, I'm going to change. Yeah, I think these guys are going to be the most difficult thing to figure out, which is why I'm doing them last. But there, that puts them here. That puts us here. That's using our rules of thirds to help orient the picture. I'm pretty happy with that. I think that's going to end up working out. Yes! God, what a cool piece. What a fun piece. I can actually make her a little bit smaller. I can afford to make her a little smaller. And then I got to get the hell out of here. There. Drop her down. just about where we need to be. Okay, cool. So that's our piece for now. I'm going to go ahead and hit the brakes. I'm going to be back on tonight to do more Spelljammer. We're going to be looking at hazards, and we're almost done with cataloging, with documenting the changes that we need to make for the 2024 book. I think I have time this weekend to actually go in and make changes to update the book. That could mean as soon as next week, we'll have Spelljammer completely solid for 2024 rules, and that'll open us up to be able to start working on like Vokath's Vokath's Battle Crab, as well as the Spelljammer subclasses, and then get back into the Monsters and Machines Kaiju book. So nice. God, I'm really liking this. All right, that's it for now, guys. I'm out of here. I will see you all hopefully later on tonight, in about 10 hours maybe. We'll kick into this some more, and then I'll be back tomorrow morning as well. So thanks a lot, folks. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you guys soon.